Hey guys, it's Tim. Excuse me, it's Tim, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. As we are here on Tuesday, March 5th, 2019, to talk about tonight's Smackdown Live. Tonight's Smackdown Live did come to us from the Mohegan Sun Arena, and we had a title change actually take place on tonight's show, which is very odd. Just 5 days before the pay-per-view? So with that, if you're in the live chat right now, let me know if I'm live. YouTube is giving me some weird deal I've never seen before, saying I'm live, but it's different than normal. So just let me know in the live chat if you guys can hear me, and we'll go from there. Awesome. All right, you guys are saying that I'm live. Cool. All right, so tonight's Smackdown was an easy show to watch. Flowed really well. And I thought, for all things, it was not a bad show. It was good. Not great, but it was pretty good. So as we look and see who is joining us here tonight, we do have Krista McNutt, Ryan Marks, Henry McKenna, Jeff Guevara, Derek Bocek, DM, Noah Hall, Mr. Jones is me, Beastie Boy 124. What is going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here live tonight on this review of SmackDown Live. And SmackDown Live did kick off with a WWE champion, Daniel Bryan, and Rowan. I still want to call him Eric Rowan, but they don't call him Eric Rowan. And Rowan making their way down to the ring. Before they spoke, a video package played, recapping the Kofi Kingston angle from last week. Bryan and Rowan watched the video from the ring. Bryan noted that he remained silent last week as Kingston lost his title shot. He said it's his turn to speak, and the fans remained silent. And he asked for the fans to remain silent. With that, Bryan noted that Vince McMahon replaced a guy that throws out pancakes, copious amounts of pancakes actually, with a guy that eats copious amounts of pancakes. So it's like, what are you doing, Bryan? You're gonna, I didn't get this at all. So he called out Kofi for throwing out pancakes, and he calls out Kevin Owens for eating pancakes. What, Kevin Owens fat or something? No, dumb. So Owens would come out. Owens regrets taking Kingston's title shot and promised to defeat Bryan for the title of Fastlane. Owens ended up brawling with Rowan. He sent Rowan to the floor. Bryan and Owens went back and forth until Rowan got back in the ring and slammed Owens. So that is how the opening segment of tonight's Monday Night Raw did begin. Or not Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, my bad. SmackDown Night Raw did begin. I'm all kinds of crazy. Sorry, I was trying to read something in the chat. What? Mr. Jones is me? I have no clue what you're talking about. Alright, anyways. So with that, we then see the SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions come out. Jimmy and Jey Uso. Jimmy imitated The Miz and mocked him for trying to make his father proud. He also made fun of Shane McMahon for jumping off of everything. The Usos said, Jimmy, I think it was, said that he'd even try to jump off the WrestleMania sign if he was allowed to. They promised to defeat The Miz and McMahon at Fastlane. The Usos were pretty good in this promo here. They had some funny lines. Miz and Shane McMahon would come down to the ring as we were about to get Jey Uso versus The Miz. The Miz noted that they have a second chance Sunday. Miz promised to make McMahon and his father proud. Now here's the thing. So WWE stated that, we're not going to do the whole, we're not going to do the whole automatic rematch clause anymore. Who was the one to first actually say that? Shane. And what happens here? Shane gives himself an automatic rematch. So it's like consistency blown throughout the window. Usos tried to go after The Miz and Shane, and they clotheslined him out of the ring. So we then get The Miz versus Jey Uso. Match started during a commercial. Miz hit a DDT for a near fall. He attempted the skull-crushing finale, but Jey Uso, countered with a Samoan drop. Uso went for the splash, but Miz got his knees up. Actually, I think it was his feet. Uso was able to stop himself and catch Miz's feet. He rolled up Miz for a 2 count. Jimmy tried to help by holding his brother down for the count. McMahon then nailed Jimmy with a clothesline. Uso was distracted and Miz hit a skull-crushing finale for the victory. So the Miz defeats Jey Uso, which, if you look at WWE booking, Uso should be retaining on Sunday. We then get the announcement that later on in the night, Kevin Owens will be taking on Rowan. In the back, Charlotte Flair was interviewed and noted that Becky's missing from Smackdown tonight, but she said, I want my former best friend to come and be in the ring with me tonight. And Charlotte just seemed so overscripted, so robotic, it was bad. R-Truth then comes out with Carmella for a United States Championship Open Challenge. He said he wants to be like his childhood hero, John Cena. However, he didn't know that Cena did the Open Challenge every week, and this is going to get exhausting. Carmella reminded him that Cena always said never give up. Truth noted and also said, quote, can't see me. But Truth can see Cena, he said. He sees him on posters. He sees him in movies like Bumblebee. They then did a 7-second dance break, and Lacey Evans would come out. Lacey Evans came out. They called her the sassy Southern Belle. And then she walked away, like always. So Truth was like, was that it? Was that my challenger? And Carmella goes, no, that's not it. You needed to get a real challenger. And out would come Samoa Joe. As soon as Joe came out would come Ray. As soon as Ray came out would come Andrade, and the referee starts the match as Fatal 4-Way. Truth was kind of like, wait, what? No, yeah, fine. But this is a really good match. Even when Zelina Vega and Carmella got into it a little bit as well. The match started during the commercial break. Joe was firmly in control. Mysterio went for a crossbody, but Joe just walked out of the way. He threw Andrade and Truth to the floor. He nailed an elbow on Mysterio for a near fall. He tossed Truth into the barricade and rocked Mysterio with a nice chop. He then rocked Andrade with a vicious chop as well. Andrade nailed Joe. So Andrade went to go for like a big boot type move. Joe swats the foot and leg down, spinning Andrade around, and Andrade spins and pops Joe right in the side of the head with a nice, very nice elbow. He then misses a charge in the corner, though, and fell to the floor. He went right over that top rope. You can see him jump to get over that top rope. Joe then hit Andrade with a suicide dive on the floor, and Joe lifted up Mysterio, but Truth drop-kicked Joe from behind, and Mysterio went flying into the crowd. After a commercial break, Andrade was firmly in control and hit 3 amigos on Rey Mysterio. Truth then lifted up Andrade on his... Truth lifted up Andrade on his shoulders, and Mysterio teased doing a Hurricane Rana, which was the spot that was actually done last week in their match, the triple threat. Andrade then rolled up Truth for a near fall, and Mysterio hit Joe the crossbody. Andrade attempted a moonsault on Truth, but he moved out of the way. Andrade landed on his feet and hit a standing moonsault on Rey for a 2. Truth then fired up and started running wild, even hit the 5-knuckle shuffle on Joe for a near fall. Joe then locked the Coquina clutch on Truth, but he was too close to the ropes, rope break. Later on, a little bit later, Andrade hit a somersault powerbomb from the apron on the floor on Mysterio through the ropes. Mysterio was able to slow it down, but it still looked like it hurt. Might have been a little bit of a botch, not 100% sure. Zelina Vega then interfered and hit a Hurricane Rana off the apron. She ran off the apron, jumping, leaping, hitting Truth, throwing him into the barricade. Mysterio hit the Canadian Destroyer and 619 on Andrade. He hit the splash, or a frog splash, but Joe broke up the pin with a nice senton. Joe would then pick up Andrade and hit him with a huge spinning, spinning Uranage for the victory. New United States Champion Samoa Joe. Razorblade says, I want Mandy to be the champ. No, I don't. I do. Mr. Jones me is right. Tim never said that. No, I never said Mandy should be the champ. I said that Mandy's improved enough to be okay in a championship match, but I never said that she should be the champion. So with that, the New Day, who were not there because they are actually helping out with the WWE's tryout in Mumbai, India, sent a message. Kofi said, they're not Smackdown, but they will be a Fastlane. Becky was then shown backstage walking around on crutches. Kayla Braxton interviewed the new United States champion Samoa Joe. She noted that the roster had talked about Joe never winning a title. Joe caught her off and promised to defeat everyone that wants a shot at him. So I don't know if that means that he's also going to do an open challenge, or it's just whenever he's made to defend the title, he's saying he's going to win. But we'll see how that goes. Next up, we got a tag team match. Aleister Black and Ricochet against The Bar. Before the match, The Bar wished the babyfaces good luck on their match Sunday for the Raw Tag Team Championships. They noted that the entire Raw Tag Team roster doesn't compare to The Bar. Cesaro worked over Ricochet's arm early. Ricochet fought and hit a rolling DDT on Cesaro. Black and Sheamus both got tagged in, and Black hit a moonsault and a knee for a 2 count on Sheamus. Black gave Cesaro a backdrop, but he landed on his feet. Black then hit the Black Mass on Cesaro and tagged in Ricochet. Ricochet hit a dive on Sheamus to the floor. Ricochet then hit the 630 for the victory. Kind of a quick match here. After the match, Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev jumped Black and Ricochet from behind. Both teams beat down the babyfaces before the Hardys would actually run out and make the save. Jeff hit a dive, but the heels caught him. Ricochet then hit a dive, wiping everybody on the floor out. With that, I do believe, which we'll talk about this when we do our predictions tomorrow, I do believe the Revival should retain those titles on Sunday. So next up, we had Naomi taking on Mandy Rose. Match was very short. Naomi had a brief advantage early before Deville distracted her. Rose then rocked Naomi with a knee. Angel's Wings victory. 1, 2, 3. So Rose and Deville walked up the stage backwards. Now, if you didn't hear, there was a scary moment last night at the Smackdown Live event. I think it was in White Falls. And what happened was they were going for like a rolling senton looking kind of move deal, almost like a wheelbarrow. And it looked like, so Asuka should have tucked her neck, but I think she tucked too much. And she tucked more of her whole body down, and that is why she landed weird and the match was automatically stopped. Referees and doctors and officials all came down to check on her, and it was said that she may have tweaked her back a little, but she should be fine. So at the end of this match with Naomi and Naomi and Mandy Rose, Mandy and Sonya were walking back up the ramp. They were walking backwards when Asuka would come out. Asuka would then beat down both babyfaces, leaving them laying ahead of their match this Sunday at Fastlane. So, we'll see how it goes. I don't see Asuka losing. I see her retaining the championship pretty easily. Going forward, Kayla Braxton interviewed AJ Styles, who she said wanted to talk about the WWE Championship match. She asked his thoughts on Kofi losing his title shot and Kevin Owens taking his place. Styles wondered why the McMahons weren't listening to the fans since they're screaming for Kofi Kingston. He believes Kofi was screwed and deserves a title shot. And here's the thing. I think Kofi's getting that title shot at Mania, and that's what the fans want. They want hashtag Kofi Mania. Randy Orton would interrupt AJ Styles for the second week in a row. He said that he couldn't believe that Styles thinks Kingston should get a title shot. Orton noted that he understands now why it took Styles 15 years to make it to the WWE. It was then announced that Rey Mysterio will be taking on Andrade at Sunday's Fastlane event but on the pre-show. We then got our main event match, but not main event segment. It was Kevin Owens taking on Rowan. Excuse me. So Bryan joined commentary team briefly. Rowan sent Owens to the floor with a drop kick. Bryan trash-talked Owens, and Owens attacked him. Bryan and Rowan beat down Owens until Mustafa Ali came out. Match did end in disqualification. So Ali came out to try to make the save. Ali nailed Rowan with a Hurricane Rana off the announce table when Rowan tried to use the Iron Claw chokeslam, trying to put Ali through the table. Ali then from behind. Bryan then jumped Ali from behind, but Owens made the save on that one and hit a nice stunner on the champion. Champion and Rowan then left, and Owens and Ali were just in the ring together as we go to commercial. So main event segment time. We saw Charlotte Flair make her way down to the ring, while the fans were chanting for Becky. A video package also recapping Ronda Rousey's vicious attack on Becky Lynch last night played. Lynch would eventually come down to the ring limping, but only having the one crutch yet again. Lynch noted that her body's hurting just a bit, and she's going to be okay. She pointed out that she's in Flair's head and in Ronda's head as well. Lynch said that Ronnie hit her with absolutely the best shots that she has, and she's still standing. She's ready to fight again, and the fans broke out into another Becky chant. Becky said that her ribs are bruised, her arm was almost broken, and her knee is damaged worse. She said she has nothing left to lose. Flair would then kick the crutch out from under the armpit of Lynch and knock her down, attacking the knee. Flair went for the figure eight, but Lynch grabbed the crutch and fought her off. Lynch then locked in the disarmer on Flair before officials came down to break it up, and the crowd yet again started chanting for Becky. Flair rolled out of the ring and retreated as Becky stood in the ring. I guess you can say with the advantage over Flair going into Fastlane. So with that was tonight's Smackdown Live. Smackdown Live was, in my opinion, like I said, a pretty good show, all things considered. Now, I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys thought of tonight's Smackdown Line, or if you just have a question, you can do so. You can call in at 559-475-8473. We've also got the text line as well if you guys do want to text in your call or your questions. With that, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat while we wait for you guys to send in your questions or call. See a lot of you guys asking about Roman Reigns. You said, what's next for Roman after Fastlane? I know the idea of him versus Corbin has been pitched, but I don't know if it's actually going to happen. Again, if you do want to text in, 510-906-1341. Excuse me. And with that, let's take our first phone call. Caller in the air, what's going on?
Hi, how are you? How are we doing today?
Pretty good, yourself?
Good. I just had a quick wrestling etiquette question as a fan.
Okay.
Obviously, you heard about Luke Perry's passing yesterday.
Yes.
I'm going to an indie card next week, and Jungle Boy's supposed to be on the card. I don't know if he's going to be on the card, but if he is, and if I have the opportunity to meet him, do you think it's appropriate for me to express condolences or just not say anything and just act like it's a regular wrestling show and just let him do his thing?
I see where you're contemplated on that. It makes sense to be a little contemplated. But I mean, if it was me and someone came up to me and was like, hey, I want to give my condolences on the loss of your father, I'd take it and I'd appreciate that. I don't know how he would feel about it, but I say, if you want to say it, say it. Fill him out first. If he seems like he's in a good mood, then go for it. But if he does seem a little down, then maybe avoid it. But it really just depends on how you think he's feeling at the moment, like how he's interacting with everybody else. So, I mean, for the most part, I say, if you want to say, hey, I'm sorry for your loss, go for it.
Yeah, I just didn't want to be rude, so I just wanted to see what you thought.
Right. Is that it?
That was my main question, but thanks for taking my call.
All right, thanks for the call. And have a great question. Have a great night. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Hey man, tonight's Smackdown Live, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it was the best show, but I enjoyed it.
Right.
But I would say my first question is, it's with Becky and Charlotte. Now, I heard some rumors about this, and I don't know if this is true or not, but do you think Becky is like really injured,
no,
or do you think that she's faking it?
It's a complete storyline to make the crowd get even more behind Becky. The feeling is, if Becky's hurt, but it can still beat both of these girls hurt, then that's going to make Becky an even bigger babyface for overcoming the odds. Becky's not hurt at all, and it's all just storyline.
Because I'm thinking that like she's gonna pull Batista. You remember that one time Batista faked it like he was injured with his arm, but then he took his sling off, and then he was like, "I'm not really hurt. I'm just doing this to get in your head or whatever it is."
I can see where you would think that, but because they did the whole storyline thing where Stephanie said, "Becky, you are still hurt, so we need you to sign this clause stating if you get any more hurt, we're not liable." So storyline wise, one would believe that doctors have told the McMahons that she's hurt. So it's not like Becky's faking it. I mean, she's faking it, but in storyline, she's not.
Yeah, you totally called it on the storyline too, saying that they will have the match at Fastlane.
Oh yeah, it was very obvious.
I got to give it to you on that. But my second question is, man, big congratulations to Samoa Joe. I mean, he finally got a title on him, and it's not the title that I would have wanted. I would have wanted the WWE Championship, of course. But what's your reaction for Joe winning the title, the U.S. title?
I think it's great. You got to start somewhere. You don't need to just all of a sudden jump right in and win the main championship. Give the guy a secondary title, see how he does with it as a champion, and go from there. Maybe this is just the first step in him in a year or two becoming WWE champion or moving back over to Raw and being Universal champion.
Do you think he walks into WrestleMania with the U.S. title?
I would believe so. As of right now, he doesn't have a defense at Fastlane.
Yeah, because I mean, you're absolutely you're correct on that, and there's no more rematch clause, so R-Truth. It's pretty much like R-Truth is going into the back of the line. So
no more rematch clause, so we think. But I mean, Shane's the one that first said no more rematches, and then gave himself a rematch. So anything can happen.
Right. I mean, but he's Shane McMahon, so I can see how how that went down.
Right.
Yeah, but have a good night.
All right. Thanks for the call. Have a great night. All right. Let's just roll through and take another call. Caller in the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim. What's going on?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm doing good. But SmackDown was good. All the champions got on the show. How I'm a stickler about that. But I want to touch on a few things, and one was Samoa Joe, because I'm really happy that they actually put that U.S. title on Samoa Joe, because he's so good on the mic and he's so good in the ring. That U.S. championship could make a comeback. I'm not taking away him being a champion. I'm just saying that U.S. championship was going nowhere. I mean, no offense to R-Truth, he's a good wrestler. He's kind of kind of a comedian to get the crowd hyped with Carmella. But I'm really happy that Samoa Joe, because I feel like he could make that championship a legit title, because he's like a legit wrestler who won't just get roll up pins.
Right, and I agree fully.
So yeah, so that's good. But also I feel like SmackDown, the last 20 to 30 minutes of the show was very rushed. Do you think that whole Mandy Rose thing and then the quick thing with Mustafa Ali, Like, you think it was very rushed?
I didn't feel that way, especially when the main event match, like the whole Joe Rowan, whatever you want to call it, if you want to call it a match or not, that was over with still 15 minutes left on the show. They came back and did the whole Becky Charlotte thing with 10 minutes, and technically the angle ended with 2 minutes, and then they just ran down the Fastlane card to fill the last 2 minutes. So I didn't feel like it was rushed at all, especially when they had the extra time at the end, kind of.
Yeah, and speaking of the main event segment, I saw your tweet by saying the last 10 minutes of SmackDown was a Raw storyline, but I said that last week, and you said, well, since Charlotte's a SmackDown superstar, it doesn't matter. Like,
I mean, well, she's now, because that was before she was actually showing up on Raw. Like, she had showed up on Raw the one time when Vince brought her out, but this time it's like she's showing up on Raw. The match that they're promoting was made on Raw, so it's a Raw match. That's why that's why I said, this is a Raw segment, because it's for a match that has nothing to do with SmackDown. It has everything to do with Raw and getting Becky into the Raw Women's Championship match.
For sure. I just didn't like and I completely agree with you 100%. I just didn't like that, Asuka gets 2 minutes on TV, which is fine. She got on TV, but, Raw can take over the last 10 minutes of SmackDown.
Exactly.
So, it kind of baffles me. But one last question,
sure.
And it's about Raw. It's about Raw. The whole Batista thing. I gotta know. Like nobody talk about this. Like in kayfabe, Batista goes, "I may or may not show up next week," which we all know that means he will. And if we're being real, but like in kayfabe, he said I may or may not show up. 20 minutes later, they announced a face-to-face conversation. Doesn't that kind of break kayfabe a little bit?
No, because Triple H invited him to come. They said they will have the face-to-face confrontation, and then Michael Cole stated if Batista wants to show up. And then Corey Graves, trying to be the heel announcer, goes, "Oh, well, my sources said he'll be there, so I think he's going to be there." But Michael Cole did state, we will have a face-to-face confrontation if Batista does show up.
Huh. Yeah, I must have been, texting or something. I missed that part, but...
Yeah.
All right, my man. Thanks as always for the call. It was
right.
Great talking to you.
Thanks for the call. Have a great night. All right. So with that, let's check the text messages. We got a couple here. First one says, from 985, says, what if Sami Zayn returns at Fastlane to cost Kevin Owens his match? That wouldn't be a bad idea. Kinda. It would kind of be bad because it would, Owens gets screwed out of the WWE Championship match, or out of the championship. But at the same time, it'd be kind of cool, kind of good, because then it can lead to Sami versus Kevin at WrestleMania. So I would be on the fence about that one, for sure. 817 says, do you think The Miz will turn on Shane this Sunday at Fastlane? Yep. I think that's where this has been going for a long time. Now, originally, I thought it was going to be with Shane as the heel and The Miz as the babyface. But when they did the whole McMahon's in charge thing and they dropped the Shane McMahon heel turn, now I think Miz is going to go back to being heel, turn on Shane, and we get Miz versus Shane at WrestleMania 35. So that's the direction I think they're going to go. Looking at the live chat, Dontrell Bailey says, I think Sami Zayn is coming back during the Superstar Shakeup. I mean, that's not a bad idea either. Maybe you do Sami on the Raw or SmackDown after to see if he gets that big pop. Yusef is asking, where's Dolph Ziggler? Taking a little break right now. He's doing a comedy tour, stand-up. Promo says, after Mania, what would you do with Sami? That's a tough one. Depends on what show he goes on. If he goes on Raw, then I would put him in the IC title picture. If he goes on SmackDown, that's a little tougher because Joe's the champion now, but we don't know if Joe's going to be the champion after WrestleMania. Maybe you put him in the U.S. title picture. We'll see. I do think that Sami should get a good push when he comes back because the crowd will be behind him, but it all depends on if they want him to come back as a heel or if they want him to come back as a babyface. Razorblade says Dolph Ziggler had a Hall of Fame worthy career. Kinda. I mean, by WWE standards, yeah, that's Hall of Fame worthy. Let's see. See if you guys have any more questions here. Brandon Soriano says, where's Tyler Breeze, AOP, and JoJo? Don't know anything about JoJo. AOP is not being used because Razor is injured. And I think Tyler Breeze is the same way. He's just not being used till Fandango comes back from his injury. Well, again, if you do want to call in, give your thoughts on tonight's show, or ask a question, 559-475-8473. Let's take this call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Okay, so I didn't know it connected. I have a couple questions.
Sure.
Do you think in any way that Roman might try to get himself into that title match at Mania or not for Roman Reigns?
If they didn't already have the triple threat with the Raw Women's Championship, I would say maybe, but I don't think they're going to do the two biggest matches of the night be triple threat matches.
So it just be Seth versus Brock?
Correct.
And then another thing is, what's going on with Luke Harper or Bray Wyatt?
I don't know about Bray. Last I heard is they have two ideas for him. They do have an idea for a featured match for him at Mania if they want to go that route, but they're also contemplating holding him off till the Raw or SmackDown after WrestleMania. As far as Luke Harper goes, pardon?
Oh, I was going to say, you think maybe they'll come back at the shake-up?
Well, maybe the shake-up's 2 weeks after Mania, but they need that big return the night after or the Tuesday after still as well. As far as Luke Harper goes, Luke Harper, when Rowan got injured, went and had wrist surgery on a nagging injury. He was cleared 2 weeks ago. Could come back at any time. They're just figuring out the right way to bring him back.
Okay, and another thing, probably my last question.
Sure.
If Bray comes back on Raw or on SmackDown, could you see him maybe teaming with Bryan? Like they had the Wyatt's back with Bryan?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, then. Well, thanks.
All right. Thanks for the call and have a great night.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, just reading what you guys are saying in the chat. Legend Steeler says, Bray Wyatt going to miss WrestleMania this year too? Yeah, that'll be 2 years in a row he's missed WrestleMania. Yeah, that'd be 2 years in a row because 33, he was the champion, lost the title to Randy Orton. Last year didn't have a match. This year may not have a match, so it's going to be interesting. Marcus Ryan says Bray and Elias would make an interesting team. Yeah, but then you may have to change the Bray character a little. I just don't see that working out that well. Yusuf has a good question. Will Batista continue with WWE after WrestleMania? No. Well, Batista has said for at least 2 years, if not longer, that what he would like from the WWE is to do one final match with Triple H at a WrestleMania. He would consider it his retirement match. Whether he wins or loses, which I believe he would lose, it will be his final match ever, and he'll never think about going back and wrestling again. He wants to finish up, but on his terms, do one last big match, because that last run he did in 2014 was a disaster. So he wants one last big match. He wants it against his friend Triple H. And he wants to just go out there and have the best match he can as his final wrestling match. And then he's just going to be an actor, which he's not bad at. He's Drax the Destroyer. He did Blade Runner. He's done a bunch of other movies. So Batista, in a couple of years, we may see him pop up there in more big-time movies, more than just the Marvel movies. And I mean, I don't see why not. He's a really good actor. He took that Drax character and plays that character perfectly. Some thinks that he's boring in the Drax character, but that's how the Drax character is supposed to be. It's supposed to be kind of like mellowish for the most part, laughs at his own jokes, and is very sarcastic, with at the same time not understanding what sarcasm is. So he plays the Drax character probably as good as anyone could have. Again, if you guys do want to call in, we'll take a couple more calls. 559-475-8473 is the phone number if you do want to call in and ask a question. If you want to text in your question, you can do that at 510-906-1341. Gorilla Moon says Joe versus Cena in U.S. Open Challenge at Mania. I don't know about Cena doing that, you know. And I don't know if we would do an open challenge at Mania either. Because I don't think you have a WrestleMania and just have John Cena appear unannounced. That wouldn't be smart. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Yeah. Hi, Tim.
Hello.
What's up?
Not much.
So, can you see John Cena coming back pretty soon to challenge for the U.S. title? Since it's like, I think it's kind of been teased like the second time in a row tonight on Smackdown.
I can see where your thinking is because the whole R-Truth John Cena stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I know they're trying to figure out what he can do at WrestleMania. They want him to work.
Yeah.
Last I heard that he's willing to work WrestleMania. But I don't know what the match could be. Maybe it's a match with Joe. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know if I would want to put John Cena in a title match if it's just going to be a one-off and then he's gone for months and months and months again.
Yeah.
Because then the fans would be like, why does he deserve a championship opportunity over somebody else like a Mustafa Ali or something?
Well, maybe Mustafa Ali might get like a WWE Championship match since he's back.
I think that's going to Kofi.
Like, really, yeah, I don't know. Maybe sometime down the line, Mustafa Ali can get a WWE Championship match or something.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. But this Sunday, do you think Kevin Owens will win or Daniel Bryan will retain?
I think Daniel Bryan's going to retain and then go on to Mania to defend against Kofi.
All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Tim. Have a good night. Bye.
Thanks for the call. Have a great night. All right, so I see Yusuf with another question saying, what is WrestleMania plans for The Undertaker? I have heard that Vince told his creative team to think of some, but I don't think Undertaker's interested in coming back for Mania. They could pitch ideas, but I don't know if it's going to happen or if he's going to accept. Before we close it out, just a couple more questions here in the live chat. Gorilla Mon says, do you think the Hardys and the Usos at Mania? Very possible. They've already started teasing it on social media. Yusuf asks, will the Raw Women's title match main event WrestleMania or the Universal? As of right now, as of this past weekend, the plan was for the Raw Women's title match to go on last. Things can change. Vince can change his mind the day of. But as of this past weekend, last I heard was yes, the women going on last. Nubenko says, do you think Lacey will compete? I think she'll eventually compete at WrestleMania. Her name is being floated around to challenge Asuka for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Yusuf, no, I don't think the ratings are up because of Bruce Pritchard. I think the ratings are up because we're getting closer to WrestleMania, so everyone wants to see what WWE's planning and trying to figure out on the road to WrestleMania. That's all reason I think it's up. Chris Gomez says, speaking of WrestleMania, I heard Angle may have his final match against either Ray or John Cena or The Undertaker. Now, I don't know where you heard those names, but they are thinking of doing a retirement match for Kurt at WrestleMania. But I don't know where you heard the names Ray, John Cena, or Undertaker. Again, Undertaker, they don't have an idea for him yet. They're trying to think of something that he would maybe accept. As of right now, they don't have anything. Steve Emblem says, do you think Hiromi Takahashi wins? Wait, what? Oh, shows up at the 47th anniversary show. I've heard that he's close to returning, but I don't know if he's this close to returning. And it's Hiromu, not Hiromi. That's why I was confused. You were like, it said Hiromi, and I was like, Hiromi? But anyways, I heard he's close to returning. Like, all things point to should be back soon, but I don't know how soon, and I don't know if that's soon enough. Exeek19 says, Dean Ambrose leaving WWE, real or storyline? As of Monday night, WWE was still under the impression that Dean was not re-signing his contract and leaving in April. So it's real, but they are trying to convince him. Roman even told a fan at a meet and greet recently, hey, I'll try to talk to him. When he said, hey, is Roman Reigns or is Dean Ambrose staying or leaving? And Reigns told the fan, I'm going to talk to him. So we'll see. It's real. He wants to leave, but they can always persuade him. Maybe his buddy Roman can. Jeremiah Jones says, what happened to Jason Jordan? Jason Jordan had a very bad neck injury, cannot wrestle, and so he's basically learning to be possibly on the creative team. He's been sitting in on creative team meetings, and he's also learning to be a producer backstage. It's kind of like a Tyson Kidd situation, basically. So with that, we're going to wrap things up here. I want to say thank you for joining me here live for this SmackDown Live review, March 5th, 2019. Thank you to everybody who watched later on YouTube.com. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest updates. You can check out our website, pwunlimited.net. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. And check us out on Twitter, at PWUnlimited. We'll be live tomorrow with the PW Unlimited live show. See you then. Good night, guys.